In the time before creation, before the first day, before the primordial void, before the word was spoken, God created the heavens. Now man was not made to be capable of understanding that which occurs in heaven, but they can be given the understanding through the guidance of an angel. So know that when I write, read these words and know that it is truth, that what I write of next pertains to heavenly matters that cannot be understood with man's knowledge of understanding, for man's wisdom comes from what they see before them. For man to understand the way of God's kingdom enough to grasp the truth of what I write, he must understand this basic truth and remember to return to its founding principle when he cannot grasp the meaning of what I speak of. The one principle of heaven's wisdom is that the motion of time, aging, and even the passing of seasons from cycle to cycle does not apply to matters that occur in heaven, for time and its passing is a principle within creation. Days, weeks, years, these things hold no boundaries or barriers to the things that unfold within heaven. So read these words and know that it is truth, that heaven is the dwelling place of the defenders of God, who protect mankind and his creation and all his good works, but it is not the dwelling place where God exists. Through his angels does he work, through his intangible presence, that is the Holy Spirit, does his presence come forth from and commands us. It comes from a place beyond what anyone can know or understand. Not even his highest and most trusted angels know from where it is that he works. We only interact with his intangible presence, whom we all know, when we stand before him and receive his command to work his will. All that can be known about the details of God is that he is God, therefore he is. It is our faith in him that ties each of his angels to his divine presence, that is the Holy Spirit. That is all that there is to be known on that subject. God gave mankind the gift of free will, and one other. The only angel to ever have been given the gift of free will that is known of would be me, the angel Lucifer, and I was the only angel to ever be or ever will be made like that. These words were spoken to me by him upon my creation. So within creation does that gift apply to mankind, but once in heaven that does not apply, and all obey the will of the Almighty except for Lucifer. He is the only angel capable of retaining this gift beyond the confines of creation. We are not given the reasons why, nor do we question it, for it is God's will that this is so, thus it is obeyed. Not even Michael was given this. That is why Michael is his mighty angel, for he obeys the direct will of God's command without the ability of choice. Now read these words and know that it is truth, that Lucifer and Michael are both one and the same angel, yet at the same time they are not. Lucifer was the Lord's angel, who was given great authority and power to achieve a destiny which he alone was created specifically to achieve, and no other, made and sculpted by the very hands of the Creator himself. The reason why Lucifer was the mightiest and most powerful angel God ever made or ever will make has mainly to do with what had to occur in order for Lucifer to become what God had intended for him to become. To achieve this, Lucifer had to endure many horrific trials and tragedies, successes and achievements that both broke him down and rebuilt his character. At times he had to do this without the knowledge of what was occurring or why, even to the point of never even knowing that God was behind the things that were happening to him even during his childhood. His entire life was molded by God down to every detail. He was placed in the presence of demons during his earliest years to give him the ability to stand before them and even defend them if needed. Without fear or doubt, he was denied death time and again, allowing him to transgress between the living and the dead without hesitation or paranoia, all while retaining his free will. The things that Lucifer had to endure was not meant for any of his creations to ever have to experience, for if the Lord had not been with him throughout all he had gone through, if it had been any other than the one God had made specifically for this path Lucifer walked, would have broken their mind and spirit, shattering them into multiple pieces of madness. That is why God had said that he was the only one who was or ever will be made like him. It is through our faith, however, and knowing the beauty of God's true creative skill, that we can look upon Lucifer's saga and see the magnificence of what he has made. For through Lucifer we can see how he can achieve something that no other angel truly can. Though other angels adhere to their duty and loyalty to God's will, Lucifer's free will gives him the ability to truly cherish God. Angels do as they are designed to do, but Lucifer has the ability to choose how to apply his faith with God. For Lucifer was the first and only angel capable of choosing to adore, admire, and even exalt God through the gift that free will gives mankind, allowing them to love what they choose to cherish. Ask any angel if they love God, and though they may respond out of reaction to loyalty, but they will be incapable of grasping whether they truly do, for they cannot choose to. Now, parallel to this situation, we have Michael, which is a point in Lucifer's saga where God removes his gift of free will for a time, and Lucifer becomes compelled to do as all angels are designed to do. As Michael, he becomes the angel who does as God commands without question, ready to give his life if necessary to do as the Lord commands, without doubt, without fear, and strength in the Lord's word, as though he is an extension of the Lord's will. He knows God's intentions and does not waver, for he cannot falter in his duty, sinless in nature and in the eyes of God. However, though, as Michael, he is the loyal and dutiful angel, Michael cannot complete some tasks the Lord placed before him, even if commanded to. As an angel, Michael protects creation and life, so he cannot bring an end to anyone, no matter how evil or sinister they or their intentions may be. Dutiful to his faith, but incapable of doing what is necessary when the need arises, as mighty as he may be. In the end, he does not have the gift of choice, and without choice one cannot attain salvation, redemption, belief, or faith, for they are deeds that are chosen to. Of course you are, as I said before, Joachim, you are a part of our ensemble. That is how I knew you were the other witness. For you are the one whom they refer to as he who is called I am, just as I am the one referred to as he who has yet to be the 13th God is called upon by the 13th sigil of Lucifer. That is why it is without a name, for his name was stricken from heaven, applies here, and it is why the 13th God has no name. Remember, God had appointed Lucifer as the lead guardian angel to watch over the earth. That means the entire earth, from its beginning to its end. Each God represents a form of us across the span of Earth's history. The throne of Zeus, if you will. Of course, that understanding is for the non-believers and random regular people, those who do not believe or have learned the details behind the true purpose of Lucifer, or my appointment to the role of a guardian angel. Those who do not have true faith and trust in the Lord's commands will see this position as a God over the earth, a role viewed as the king of the gods. Those such as the Zealots, and what we call today as the conservative Christian Karens, who are driven by the need to smite evil for the glory of God's name, that preach a message of fire and brimstone to gain the attention and belief of people through fear and dazzling mental imagery of something other than the truth. I allow this to continue rather than fight it for now, because I will not force our beliefs on others, even if it is the truth, without a doubt, because we are the builders of that truth. They will slowly come to realize that it is not a thing of fiction that we are speaking about here, because we laid the foundations of its saga. Eventually, they will come to learn that it is truth done by our own hands and thus cannot be dismissed, which will lead some who have an open-minded opinion to see that what we have built was built in a time when the world had lost its sense of moral direction, and we rose to a calling to fill that need with selfless intentions. However, there will still be others who wish to try and take from us what we have built out of greed for something they see as greater than what they themselves can achieve on their own. It is from there our enemies shall rise, always, or be built and driven by those with this intent on their hearts. So keep an eye open for those with jealousy in their eyes for what we have done, and we shall always be one step ahead of our enemies. Now the 13th unknown god is a misunderstood sigil chain of command probably erected by one of our era's defeated enemies, and it can be useful here to explain the appointment and role of Lucifer as the led guardian angel over the earth. There are 12 guardian angels who defend heaven, each one appointed to each of the tribes of Judah. But since Lucifer's name was stricken from heaven, then there are actually 13 angels and a 13th tribe of Judah. They are not a part of the tribes by blood, but by faith. They are the tribe of Gentiles, the believers, and the faithful to God that come from many different cultures around the world and throughout history. They may not be a direct descendant of the tribe of David or Benjamin or Levi, but they are those who have come to believe and have faith in the Lord, and through their selfless deeds and true desire to know, understand, and trust in God as best they can, they have shed more blood and suffered more tribulation to their faith and path towards living by His command than 100 martyrs. In a divine sense of justice, if they suffer as much as the Hebrews have suffered, if they bleed for the sake of the innocent, as the Hebrews had for their freedom from Egypt, if they wander through life, holding fast to their faith that what God has revealed to them to be true without truly knowing, just as the Hebrews had to when Moses led them to the promised lands. If they suffer as they had suffered, then why should they not be welcomed into the promised lands as well? For can you not see that they are our fellow brothers, not by blood, but in suffering and in triumph through faith in the true living will of God, not baptized through the water of Jordan that cleanses the body blood, and the spirit of turmoil, but through the baptism of the holy flame of God's mercy that creates, gives life, and one day one inevitably takes life, through the holy fire in which all things are made, and so to one day are unmade, as all things decay with time. Through this holy fire can we be baptized of the Spirit. Through faith can we find the true God. Through faith can God find us amidst His many works, and through faith can even he who was most unclean be cleansed and made new. Through true faith, true unbiased and without stipulations trust in God, can the baptism of the Spirit by the holy fire be possible. Not exclusively, but it is a path that can make this possible. Through this path the believer can become the faithful. Through this path the fallen can rise from exile. Through this path the lost flock can find themselves back towards the path that God had made for them to walk, before they, or by whatever means led them astray from His side, can be found again. Know these words and recognize them to be like those spoken by the prophets of God, for their message was a message that was meant to lead the lost and unfound towards salvation and not towards destruction. For that was God's intentions for the message that was given to the prophets to be, to lead mankind towards a flourishing future as a symbiotic species, unified like it was once in the time of Eden. Not quite angel, close, but He did not intend for man to ever return to Eden and its ways, for Eden was designed for an early, undeveloped creation. God wanted us to evolve and become what He had intended for us to become, if not more than that. So therefore we cannot return to Eden or its ways, but we can adapt its basic detail into an evolved destination aligned by His intended hopes. I can see that as a possibility to which I could believe in, for it could be a promise towards hope and a better tomorrow. That is what I remember the Creator to have been like, the loving, patient, open-mindedness and willingness to hear everyone's explanation of things before judging a book to be what it is, like He was in Eden. I see now what He is saying to me. Things have changed since then, and He cannot be as He was in Eden, no more so than we can go back to Eden. I see the truth in this. So back on topic, the 13th unknown God, angel would be like the others. such as the 7 pentacles that represent the 7 gods or guardian angels of man. These 7 are the 7 rebel angels who were exiled to earth to walk until the end of the earth. They were assigned a duty to perform, for God knew they were not responsible for what had occurred, but it just could not be explained fully at that time, which is why he did not just destroy them all, cast them out completely. He knew there was more involved than could be revealed at that time. So they were appointed to this task over the earth as mankind's guardian angels. He knew this position would eventually lead them towards the full understanding of what happened and why eventually. That is why they were tasked with such an extensive assignment. It was simply mankind's early undeveloped understanding that led them towards seeing them as gods instead of guardian angels as we can see them as now. This is but one division of the guardian angels. As time progressed throughout history, so too did this duty to other cultures and groups, such as the 12 tribes that are the 12 candles that represent the tribes of Judah. Another division of the guardian angels set to watch over the biblical era of Earth's history, and so on and so on. In this era, however, is the era of the 13th unknown tribe of guardian angels that is led by the unknown 13th god, for his name was stricken from heaven, the time of Lucifer, who was replaced by the archangel Michael for a time, and was given authority over Lucifer's position and led the armies of heaven by gathering the forces of the sons of God to do battle against Satan in the final conflict of Armageddon. For Satan's deception of the nation caused the necessity of Lucifer to rise and become Michael, as he was the true Lucifer that the world was convinced of being this sinister figure Satan had molded the world into believing he was. It's a blur of red tape and complex heavenly plans, but basically the mortal vessel was given the authority of his heavenly position to combat the deceptions of Satan. But in order to safely do this, Lucifer and who he was had to be destroyed, and Michael was made in his place to ensure that authority remained true to God's will and not corrupted by the sins the world had cast unjustly upon Lucifer for his name. So this is the path that is laid out by the victorious one, the mighty angel, he who is called God's strength, the archangel Michael, and we can see its successful outcome, a strong and sure path for those who truly seek God with true faith, and even those guided by true belief in their hearts, but have yet to attain that unquestionable trust in him, a path for those who cannot walk upon sacred grounds or are unwelcome in his house for whatever reason. This is the path to find him again. May your journey see us crossing paths again. The Angel.
Throat, bitch, choker, you my enemy. On your busted knees, silent screams, bitch, while you bleed. Turn it to the afterlife I lead, just follow me. Demon full of semen, plant my seed, which swallowed me. Born a bastard child straight out the womb of perdition. Seen as an apparition by the fools who had no vision. Ain't cursed to walk the earth to view the birth of all the nations. First and feeling hurts, destroy the worst of all creation. When fear itself will fear itself, but you deny and fear yourself. Non-believers see yourself, you deny and fear of hell. But unbeknownst to hypocrites, you burning with your shit to fist. Denial, window, ignorance won't save you unless you repent. When I was born in sockets, gold and silver, melting pockets. Just a glance from necromancers, take more lives than guns and rockets. When you hear the trumpet sound, turn your head, look to the skies. When I creep up right beside, kiss your cheek and watch you die.
Pray for the sick, the wicked. God reign in hell, bring the end of eternity. The hypocrites afflicted.
chance of disbelief for me. Hypocritic, biggest hateful cynics want eternity. Take your hate and wake, go conversate down with a burning tree. Water turned to blood, but you still drinking, it's all good. Corpses riding on the street, but you still thinking it's all hood. Ignorance is bliss, still a kiss can end the life. Just as quick as slitting wrist, a jealous fist with a knife. And you still want forgiveness, bearing witness to transgression. Doing as I will, then wipe it out while in confession. Just like Sodom and Gomorrah, rain down hell and watch it burn. Taking lives like I'm in bottom, save the children, hope they learn to not repeat mistakes and fill the lakes with soulless shells. When the horsemen slay the face of death, he finally tolls the bells. And when I take the hands of heaters, damn the rest and blind the sun. Feed the fools to all the demons, that's my will, thy will be done.
Pray for the sick, the wicked.
Bring the end of eternity.
The hypocrites afflicted.
What you got, my sin and burn for me.
Pray for the sick, the wicked.
Fall down on your knees and scream thy name.
The hypocrites afflicted.
Burn, motherfucker, burn up in flames.
And all the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and the rocks and the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, hide us from the face of him that sit upon the throne and from his wrath. The end is near, my friends. Repent or face his wrath.
Pray for the sick, the wicked.
Bring the end of eternity.
The hypocrites afflicted.
What you got, my sin and burn for me.
Pray for the sick, the wicked.
Fall down on your knees and scream thy name.
The hypocrites afflicted.
Burn, motherfucker, burn up in flames.
Pray for the sick, the wicked. There's a monster in my room. He lives beneath my bed. I think he wants to get me. At least that's what he said. For as long as I remember, he's given me a fight. But he only seems to come alive when I turn out the light.